BT Speak, just a few days ago, we released a new update, and I should say, as I said earlier, that all the features we've added in the BT Speak, including what I'm going to show you tonight, are going to be in the BT Braille, by the way. So one of the big things that we added is our first version of a podcast app. And I'm going to give you a quick demo of that. I'm not going to explain all of the menus and all of the features because we don't want to turn this into a tutorial. You can read all of the details about that in our release notes. There are several ways you can get it. If you already have a BT Speak, you can read those release notes in the help system if you press O chord and then H for help and then G for guides and tutorials. Go to the option that says what's new in this release. You can read all about it. You can also get to them from our website if you don't have a BT Speak and you want to read about it at blazytech.com. That's blazietech.com. And you can read all the details of the podcast app and every single menu item and all of that. So I'm going to just quickly show you how we can subscribe to a podcast, download the episodes, and actually listen to them. So I'm going to press O chord for the options menu.
Options menu, open.
And we will go to applications.
Applications menu, open.
And then media.
Media applications menu, podcasts, now playing.
And podcasts. And I'm in the main menu of the podcasts app. The first option says now playing. The one I want to get to is manage feeds.
Manage feeds.
And we'll press enter on that.
Search podcast index.
Now, there are a couple of choices here, but the one I want happens to be the one I'm pointing to, which is search podcast index. I'll press enter on that, and it's going to ask what I want to search for.
Search term for podcast index.
Search term for podcast index. And I'm going to look for a podcast called Access On. That is a technology podcast produced by the National Federation of the Blind. Many of you listening to that probably know about it and may already be subscribed to it. It's hosted by our friend Jonathan Mosen. So I'm just going to search for the word Access On.
Space.
And press enter.
Anas Rafiq.
Okay. Now I'm in a list of podcasts that it found that have those words in it. This first one, I don't even know what it is, but it's definitely not the one I want. I can move through the list with .4 chord, but I'm just going to press the first letter A.
View on access. Global Youth NZ on Youth.
No,
access to education. A focus. Right on with Vanda Simon. Gady on air. Anas Rafiq. Aurora P. Nadia Coates. CSA. Rebuilding Faith. Anas Rafiq. Aurora P. A view on access. Access to education. A focus. Access on.
There we go. That sounds right. I'm going to press enter on Access On.
Subscribe.
The first choice is subscribe. It's probably what I'm going to do, but I want to make sure I'm on the right podcast. So there's a section, an option called View Info that'll give me some more information about the podcast before I subscribe to it.
Title, Access On.
And I pressed enter. It says the title is Access On. We'll move down with .4 chord to listen to a description of this podcast, just to make sure that it's the one I want.
Hosted by Jonathan Mosen, Access On features breaking technology news, product demonstrations, reviews, comparisons, and interviews.
Okay, I stopped that, but that definitely sounds like what I want. I'm going to back out of this with Z chord. You could think of that like escape.
Subscribe.
And the first choice in the menu is subscribe. I want to do that. Now, when I subscribe, a few things are going to happen. It's going to import it into my list of what we call feeds, and then it's going to automatically download the most recent 3 episodes. There are certainly more than 3 episodes in the list, and I can download other ones, but by default, it is going to download the last 3. I'm going to press enter.
Imported Access On. Updating Access On. Size 57 MB. Disk free 1687 MB.
Okay,
4 8 EB 6
let's
C1
turn that
FFT
down just a little bit
4941 BC
so it won't step over
8459
me.
BF3
So what it's doing
1200.
is it is downloading the episodes that I want. My BT Speak is doing a little bit of haptic feedback and doing some vibrations. It's telling me how much space is left on my BT Speak, and it's done. So let's turn up the volume a little bit. There we go.
Anas Rafiq, Aurora
Okay.
PLAB1
Now
Ultimate on
I'm
the go.
back
For
in
for
that
GM.
first in that list of search results. I don't want to be in here, so I'm going to back out of that.
Search podcast index. Manage feeds.
So I'm on the option that says manage feeds, but I actually want to see if we have some of these episodes downloaded. They should be.
Access on 3.
Okay, it says Access On 3. So that means that I'm pointing to the podcast called Access On. The number 3 means that there are 3 episodes that have already downloaded. This is significant because even though my BT Speak is right now connected to the internet, I don't have to be connected to the internet to listen to these. So if I'm going to be traveling, if I go on a train or in an Uber, it doesn't matter. I now have these episodes offline to listen to. I'm going to press enter.
Access on AI prompt engineering. How to communicate with AI to get the results you want. Access on more tech activities at National Convention. New Meta Oakley smart glasses. And widespread confusion about JAWS pricing changes.
Okay, that was the very long title of the most recent episode, talking about things going on at the NFB convention, because this is an NFB podcast, talking about the Meta Oakley smart glasses that have just been announced, and some changes in JAWS pricing. Now, I'm going to press enter on that episode.
Play more tech activities at National Convention.
Okay, so I can play that.
Show notes.
I can review the show notes.
Delete.
Or I can delete it.
Show notes. Play more tech
Now,
activities
I'm going to start playing it, and I'm going to press enter, and because it's already downloaded on the BT Speak, it should start right away.
Live life you.
Okay, and there is the opening theme of the podcast. You heard it say paused. I pressed the space key to do that. I'm now in a menu that we've developed called the Now Playing menu. There's a lot here. I'm not going to have time to show you everything, but it's very intuitive, especially if you already know the BT Speak. You know how when you're in the speech controls menu, you can press .4 to change the volume of the speech and make it louder. Pressing .1 makes it softer, and pressing .5 makes the speech faster, and pressing .2 makes the speech slower. That's been in there since the beginning, and even if you go back to the Braille and Speak, those are the same commands. You can do that with a podcast. So I'm going to start it, and you'll see that if I press the .1 key, it'll make the podcast softer. So I'll press .1, and it's getting, now I can't even hear it. I'll press .4, and now it's getting louder. I'll press .5, and it'll make it faster. There we go. Press .2 to make it slower.
Federation of the Blind and Computer Science. There's widespread concern and confusion about changes to JAWS.
I can press .3 and 6 to skip ahead.
Battery and a better camera. It's Jonathan Rosen welcoming you to episode 31 of the podcast from a very busy Jernigan. And of course, registered on the day
in the mid 90s for this division. So
I can also skip ahead by 1 minute or even by 5 minutes. Those are just some of the things you can do in this menu. There's a bit more that I'm not going to have time for. If there's interest, maybe we can do a webinar, maybe a training webinar on the podcast's app, or we can maybe release an audio walkthrough on that. That's just a brief demo of the podcast app. Of course, I can delete episodes. I can delete an entire feed if I no longer am interested in a particular podcast. I can also go through the list of older episodes and download those if I want. So this is all in the latest update in the BT Speak. Speaking of downloading, you can also now, if you subscribe to NFB Newsline, you can download your favorites, magazines, or if there are new, really for newspapers, because they usually come out every day, or if there are new magazines, they will download now every day. And you can get all of this in the latest update. So if you have a BT Speak and you don't have the newest update, you just press O chord for options, M for the management menu, and then U for the check for updates. So that is a demo of the podcast. And if any of you have questions either about the Podcasts app or any other feature of the BT Speak, or something to do with Blazy Technologies, or something to do with the BT Braille, this is your time to ask us.
Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more content like this.